Hi, everyone. This is Regina Sun, and welcome to today's Legal Moment. Today's topic is on child support. Recently, the Real Housewives of Atlanta aired an episode where Cherie Whitfield was taken to court by her ex-husband, Bob Whitfield, over child support payments. And it was right here in Georgia, so I've pulled the Georgia statute, but just to give you a few background points, they divorced back in 2007, and the divorce decree stated that she was to be paid a lump sum of, I believe, over $700,000, as well as one alimony payment. They were to split over $1 million of assets, and he was to pay almost $3,000 in child support. On the episode that recently aired, she told him that he hadn't paid for 4 years. So she received no child support for 4 years, and he ended up taking her to court, saying that he no longer makes the $20,000 that was used to calculate the $3,000 child support that he was supposed to pay, and that now he makes $3,000 a month, and therefore wants his child support payments to be decreased accordingly. I have here with me Sylvester, and first of all, Sylvester, I want to know your thoughts on him not paying for 4 years. I mean, yeah, she received a lump sum and a lot of assets, but do you think it's right for him to avoid paying for 4 years on the principle that she's using his money to buy lavish gifts for herself?
Well, first of all, I'm not really sure. In fact, you never said what his reasons were, but there are multiple reasons why people don't pay child support, and she's had ample time, 4 years from your account, to literally take him to court and require him to pay, compel him to pay his child support. She's failed to do so, and obviously the courts have failed to find reason for him to pay it.
Well, let me correct you on a couple of issues. When I asked you, based on the principle that she's spending money on lavish gifts, that was his reason. He said that, I don't want to pay for your purse. So he's pretty much accusing her of using money that he's given her to buy $10,000 purses, to have a nice house and whatnot. Now, on your other point, the court hasn't decided anything about the 4 years, but come from someone who has observed other attorneys who practice family law, because unfortunately I don't practice it. If you haven't paid for 4 years, you're still going to owe for that 4 years. So the court is likely going to decide that he's still going to have to pay for the 4 years on whatever was agreed upon at that time, which is the $3,000 a month. So I'm asking you, do you feel like a man should stop paying just because he thinks that his money isn't being spent the way he thinks it should be spent?
And I would say not at his discretion. It doesn't have his discretion, but there are avenues for him to pursue to have those payments discontinued. And if that's the route he chose to go with, I'm completely in favor of that.
Now, one issue that I have with a lot of men trying to decide how a woman should spend her money is that should not be of your concern. The schedule that particularly Georgia puts in place is based on the best interest of the child, and it'd be one thing if the kids' needs aren't being met, but if their needs are being met, why is it that men concern themselves of how money is being spent?
It's a very good question, and I think our court systems need to be modified. The parents, particularly the highly wealthy individuals, should be able to provide an accounting of how that money is being used. I don't know this situation specifically, but if indeed Bob could show that his wife is living lavishly and beyond the means of what she's providing for the children, then I think he can go back to court, and he should go back to court and request a modification. But back to your first question, no, I don't think that he has it at his discretion to decide. He doesn't have it at his own discretion to decide he's not going to make payments. There's a procedure. There's a procedure for pursuing that.
But now, my main question, though, is why should a man concern himself with that? Again, if your kids' needs are being met, they're going to school, they got clothes on their backs, food's being fed, why are you consuming yourself with what she is doing with the money that she has?
My child support is being used to provide for their needs. And I believe and that they're well cared for. I think that's exactly right. I think then I should be able to get an accounting of how they are being cared for. Am I spending too much if I'm not spending enough? How are you caring for them? Where is the expenses going? Where are the expenses going? And you should be able to, if I'm giving you $20,000 or $3,000 a month, you should be able to show me how that $3,000 a month is being spent.
Now, say she is using some of that $3,000 a month to pay for her mortgage, and it's in a nice house. I mean, yes, she could have downgraded, but she has this nice house, and she's using that money to help pay for the mortgage. Now, this is part of the shelter that her kids are being, put over their head. So again,
I think that's
why are
exactly,
you concerning yourself? Why should men concern themselves with this?
I'm not concerned with that, but I am concerned with the fact that if I am paying $3,000 a month and you're out buying new purses from Versace and whomever else, and it just seems like that's over the top. Where else are you getting that money from? Do you have a source of income that?
But again, should that be your concern?
It is.
Again, if your kids are taken care of,
exactly.
Their food is being met, roof is over their head. Why are you concerned about her $10,000 purse?
And I'm not concerned about her $10,000 purse. What I am concerned about is how my $3,000 are being used. And I think that our laws ought to be changed to show how those $3,000 are being used.
$3,000 is being used to make sure they're fed, to make sure the clothes are there, to make sure the roof is over their head.
And if it's spent that way, if you can show me that my $3,000 is...
Why do you need an accounting of that? You see it. Why do you need an accounting?
It's called business.
This is not
That's
a business,
how corporations
and
organizations and businesses work.
This is not a business. So you think marriage is a business?
I'm not married to her if I'm providing her child support.
So you think a divorce... Because obviously if you're saying this is a business, you're saying the relationship that they have is a business. Whether you're married, whether you're divorced, you're calling it all a business.
Unfortunately, at this point.
To me,
and that's
regardless of whether you're saying that a person is married or not, if you're calling the relationship a business, then I'm saying you're calling a marriage a business. You're calling the divorce a business.
Well, we're veering off track, Regina San.
No, we're not.
I'm suggesting to you that if I'm not concerned with how much money she spends on her purses, I'm not concerned with how much money she spends on her mortgage. I'm only concerned about the money that I provide and how it's being used and for the purposes that it's being used.
Why are you concerned when the kids' needs are met, when their clothes are there, when their food is there? Why are you concerned about you're not married to her?
Well, I can take both sides of that coin. One, perhaps their needs aren't being completely met. If you provided an accounting, I might be able to say I should give a little bit more. On the other hand, if their needs are more than adequately met, I'm probably paying more than I should.
So you're saying if your kid or someone's kids, their needs are more than adequately met, you want to pay less? I mean, do you not want to give your kid the best that's available? Are you quantifying that now?
I want to make sure that their needs are adequately met, and I think that should be quantifiable.
So you're saying adequate is to this degree and no more?
No, I didn't say that.
But
I'm saying that you should be
more than adequate, so there must be a line here.
We should probably play the tape. I think you said if there had been more than adequate.
No, you said if it's more than adequate, then I need to decrease my payment. That's what you said.
If they're more than adequately being met, and I only responded to you, if they're being more adequately met, then and that can be shown, then I'm probably providing too much. I could probably put that money somewhere else.
Why are you probably providing too much? These are your kids. You're limiting how much needs that you should provide for them, and I think you're basically saying I don't want to.
It's a very good question, but isn't that really the purpose of child support, to make sure that my children's needs are met?
The purpose of child support is to make sure the best interest of the child is being met, and one of the reasons why child support is in place.
Being met.
No, best interest, not adequate interest. The best interest of the child. Now, if the best interest is an abundance of opportunity for them, why would you want to deprive your child of this abundance of opportunity?
I don't know that I ever believe that an abundance for children is the best. So, in that case, I'll make another argument that abundance is not more than adequate, is not always in the best interest of the children. And in this case, all I'm saying to you is that she should be able to provide an accounting. I think our court systems, our legal systems should require the parent who's receiving the child support to provide an accounting of the expenses, and so that everyone can understand the full expense of providing adequately and best care for that child. And then I can decide if I want to provide more.